Thank you very much, everyone, for joining today's international symposium, Transition to Net Zero, the role of finance and pathway towards sustainable future, hosted by JFSA. The world is still under the effects of the COVID-19, and most recently we face an unstable international situation which divides the world. Notwithstanding, we have excellent speakers and participants online and on-site. I have just learned that we have about 100 participants on site, while around 750 people joining virtually. We deeply appreciate all of you who participate and join us for this event come true. I would like to express special thanks to international participants who flew to Tokyo or are joining from different time zones. Let me step back a little bit to introduce you 3 objectives in our mind when organizing this event. Firstly, seizing the momentum. Just as seen in the initiatives by G20 or in the private sectors, a consensus has been made that transition is an imminent challenge to realize the contents of the Paris agreements. We need to ride the momentum, not losing any time. Secondly, call for collaboration. To resolve the global challenges, namely climate change, it is important to ensure collaboration among various stakeholders such as industrial, financial leaders, public sectors around the world. Thus, we wanted to have the key representatives, domestic and overseas, get together at one place. Thirdly, shedding a light on the role of finance. Given the rising importance of the role of the private financial sector to fund transition, we as a financial regulator thought it necessary to set a place for discussion on transition from the viewpoint of finance. Now, I am proud to say that these objectives have been satisfied by listening to the speeches and the discussions and seeing the list of participants. In the wide range of discussion, some of you may find faces and names who you have not met before, or get inspired by the discussion new to you. If so, that is exactly what we wanted to see. Today's discussion was kicked off by the wonderful keynote dialogue between Mr. Marcani, Chair of the G-Funds, and Mr. Mizuno, UN Special Envoy to Innovative Finance and Sustainable Investments. In addition to the informative explanation of the work at G-Funds, we have given a strong message from them that there are high expectations for the Japanese companies and FSA, and that the necessity of carbon neutrality is accelerated by the unstable energy situation of these days. The dialogue was followed by the keynote speech by Dr. McBain, Chief Sustainable Officer of Monetary Authority of Singapore. She guided us through the challenges and opportunities of carbon neutrality in Asia, also touched upon traditional Japanese art and biodiversity losses. In order to achieve the goal of the Paris Agreement, financing had obeyed companies to pursue transition to a decarbonized society is indispensable. From this perspective, Japanese government has been promoting the entity-based approach, whereby helping these companies facilitate their efforts on transition. More specifically, referencing the sectoral pathway or sector-specific roadmaps set by government, each of the company needing funds for transition, formulate a transition strategy. Then, thus formulated strategy is evaluated by external reviewers and financial institutions. In this way, credibility of the transition plan is secured, leading to activation of the transition finance market. We are promoting an entity-based approach to promote transition finance. But we know that our effort is just getting started and that continuous improvement and development is needed. Still, we believe the value of taking this entity-based approach at this point is threefold: dynamic, flexible, and interactive. In short, through sector-specific roadmaps for hard-to-abate sectors, the dynamic nature of transition is grasped, and each company can deploy the transition plan in a flexible manner in response to ever-changing transition pathways and situations surrounding the company. Then, credibility of transition will be enhanced continuously through the interactive process that is formulation of a transition plan by each company and evaluation by investors and financial institutions and, of course, evaluators. In the panel discussion today, which covered sector transition pathway of steel, aviation, power, and financial sector, I suppose you lively witnessed that efforts for transitions are getting sophisticated through interactive discussions with the various viewpoints of business, external evaluators, investors, and public sectors. Each country, including Japan, has set its own mid to long-term goals towards carbon neutrality, and actions to achieve the goal need to be taken now and never. Particularly, 1 year from now will be a very important period in terms of the realization of transition process for both the financial industry and the real economy. In concluding, I would like to explain 3 specific areas of action being taken and considered. First is the continued efforts by the public sector in cooperation with the private sector. In order to enhance the credibility and the feasibility of the sector-specific roadmaps, we need revise and update the roadmaps continuously and periodically. The second is to improve the quality and the credibility of works by external evaluators and financial institutions. The FSA formulates the code of conduct for ESG ratings and data providers by June, covering issues such as transparency, objectivity, and governance. As for financial institutions, supporting clients' transition is important to make financial institutions' own business foundation and business model resilient and sustainable. In April, the FSA released a draft supervisory guidance on climate-related risk management and client engagement, which places helping clients proactively to deal with climate change as the core of financial institutions' action in response to climate change. Public consultation of the draft has just closed today, 1 hour ago, and it is scheduled to be finalized in June. Not to mention that it is also necessary to strengthen the efforts by companies themselves. The METI announced the establishment of Green Transformation League, namely GX League, which will be a place where leading companies in the initiatives for transition to carbon neutrality contribute to the green transformation of the Japanese economy as a whole. This symposium is a mere starting point for a long journey for us to realize the Paris Agreement. All required collaboration and actions start from here. I strongly hope that some links of collaboration and slices of the discussion generated in this symposium will constitute the foundation for a long journey that would last 20 or 30 years ahead. So let me once again thank all participants present today. I sincerely wish you all further success and the realization of the sustainable future. With this, I conclude my remarks and announce the close of the symposium. Thank you very much for all, and どうもありがとうございます。